can ask you to all keep on mute. So find the mute button. It's in the bottom left hand of your screen. Keep your mics on mute. We've got quite a large attendance on tonight's call. So we just want to make sure that everyone has a great experience. So one of the things that I will be asking everyone to do tonight is, if you do have a question, to pop it into the chat, which can be found at the bottom of your screen, or depending on your device, it might look a little bit different. Tonight, supporting me tonight, we do have Laura Ash, one of our service desk team members, and Chloe Burgess, one of our junior delivery managers in this sphere. So some excellent support. Say hello in the chat. It'd be good to know what club you're from. I'm sure the guys are welcoming you in that chat. Please set that to everyone, just so that we can, when you're replying, just so we can have a nice inclusive event, and it means we don't answer or get questions missed within direct to someone. So that's great. So good to see Roy and Peter from Burnley. Brilliant. Good to see some people on here. Recognize some good faces. Milton Keynes everywhere. Castle Donington, great. Some brilliant people. We've still got people entering in now, so we'll carry on for a second. And we've also got leading tonight's session Amy Robin. She is our GMS service desk team lead, and she will be taking you through tonight. So great to see that we've got 70 participants live so far, and still trickling in. Aim for just move on, that'd be great. So we haven't got any polls tonight, but you may have a different view on different device, so just do whatever works for your device, if you're on a tablet or phone. We've still got people coming in, which is fantastic. We're seeing a really good response to these our national webinar program, so really good to see some good numbers on tonight, and hopefully you'll be able to take some key takeaways. We are recording the session, and it will be available post event on our RFU Club Support YouTube channel, and we will share that and email out. We will endeavour to answer all your questions. Again, just to reiterate, if you can keep on mute because of the large amount of participants that we have, and put your questions in the chat. We will have a Q&A session at the end of the presentation, as with the theme with all of our webinars, and I will pull questions from the chat, but we will try and get through as many of your queries as possible with myself and the team. So you will see, just a final thing, that you have a live transcript is on. You can turn that off. At the bottom of your screen is a little CC. You can turn it off if possible, if you want to, and we are good to go, guys. So I'm going to hand you over now to Amy, who will take you through the presentation, and then we'll finish the presentation, have a Q&A, and hopefully you'll take some great learnings from tonight's session.
Great, thanks Ian. Just checking everyone can hear me.
We're all good, Amy.
Yeah, cool.
Yeah.
So I'll just keep myself on video for just initially, just to say hi and introduce myself. So as Ian said, I am the GMS team lead here at England Rugby. So just to provide a bit of context, so when you do go on to, for those that are already familiar with, if not, we'll come on to it, the RFU help portal, when you submit a help request, it will be myself and my team who deal with those queries that come in. So without further ado, we'll just start. Okay, so this session is named New to GMS and How Do I Use It? So there are 3 key objectives to this session. 1, understand what GMS is. 2, how GMS will benefit your club. And 3, how to access further GMS support. We'll revisit these at the end of the session just to ensure that everyone feels confident that these objectives have been met. So firstly, what is GMS? Sorry, just checking everyone can see the screen at the bottom, just because on my screen it's got the Zoom information.
All good, Amy.
Great. So what is GMS? GMS is the RFU's primary platform to support the administration of the game. So the key ways in which clubs use GMS are for competition management. This includes the electronic match card, for safeguarding, for training courses, club coaching and refereeing reports, player affiliation, of course. GMS also has an ability to incorporate membership if clubs wish. So first of all, accessing GMS. So for those that really are new to GMS, in order to access your GMS account, you simply go to the GMS login page where you enter your account name and password as shown by step 1. The second step is then selecting the login button. If you are unsure of your GMS account username and password, it is strongly advised to contact your club's administrator, where they can either send you an email containing your account username and a password reset option, or they will advise that you set up a GMS account if you do not already have one. Once you are logged in, you will be directed to your personal dashboard, which can be seen in the image on the slide. You will then need to select the appropriate organization, so that can be shown there just as the My Organizations widget, and in the example listed on the slide, you'll see that the user is selecting the organization Invincibles RFC. This is shown as step 3. Once you've selected your organization, you will be directed to the organization dashboard, as shown in the image of step 4. In order to access the relevant modules on your account, you select the menu icon, as shown as the 9 grid dots in the top left-hand corner of the page, as shown here, highlighted by step 5. Once you have selected the menu icon, the relevant modules will display as per step 6. Please note that you will only see the modules that have been applied to your GMS account. If you do require adding or removing modules, please speak to your club administrator, who can amend these accordingly by adding or removing the relevant roles and permission levels to your GMS account. I will now go through roles and permission levels in a little bit more detail. So the slide shows the various modules that are available on GMS. Please note, though, that constituent bodies and referee societies have different permission levels, but do have the same roles. So there's 3 key points listed on this slide. I'll just run through them. 1, every GMS account has the default permission level of 0. For many people, this actually is suffice, but as I've said, if not, you will need to contact your club administrator, who can add and remove the roles and permission levels as appropriate. Secondly, a user will only see the modules that are relevant to their club role or their GMS account. And thirdly, as I just mentioned there, club administrators are the ones responsible for adding and removing these roles and permission levels. So on to sort of the second key objective here. How will GMS benefit your club? So I'm going to go through these 6 key features in a little bit more detail. So first off, the people module and the player management module. When in the people module, you can view data for the people that are linked to your organization. Examples of this data include, but are not limited to, viewing users with missing data, viewing users based on age and gender, as well as being able to see information on coaches and players at the club. A key feature as well within the people module is the ability to perform a search for a user at the club via the Everyone grid. This is shown on screen. When in the Everyone grid, all you do is use the filters on the right-hand side. This is also highlighted on the slide. We now move on to the player management module. In the player management module, one of the key benefits of this dashboard is the ability for club administrators to monitor and track players by viewing and processing affiliations. As well as this, under players, which I've highlighted on the slide as well, you can also access all player information, which includes both age grade and adult players. We'll now move on to the team management module. So some key points of this module. Firstly, the team management module allows clubs to view and manage fixtures for all teams within their club. The module has 3 main menu items: home, teams, and fixtures. These are highlighted on the slide. Under the home menu, you can view fixture statuses, fixture results, as well as upcoming fixtures. Under the teams menu, so the second menu item, you can view information on the teams at your club. By selecting the team name, you can view the team details, which include players that are assigned to the team, any coaches or managers associated to the team, as well as fixtures, again, relevant to that team. So we'll now move on to the finance and membership, otherwise known as the finance module and the members module. The benefits of the finance module allow your club to be able to set up and manage membership schemes and product orders, as well as being able to monitor payments received via the GMS platform for any product sold. Just let you take a moment to look at that slide. It's quite a lot of information. The benefits of the members module include a dashboard which shows the statuses of memberships within the club. So these statuses include active, suspended, lapsed, and pending, for example, as well as showing the number of members that have actually purchased each of the membership types available. Additional benefits of this module are the ability for your club to track who has and who has not signed up for a membership, as well as being able to set up bespoke membership schemes and, of course, collect payments from the users at your club. Finally, another benefit is being able to view membership statistics, mainly for reporting purposes. So we'll just move on to a key feature in GMS, which is obviously at any club, which is communication. So within GMS, communication really is enabled mainly through the email builder. So we'll just talk about the email builder in a bit more detail. So key benefits of using the email builder include the ability to send emails to people that are registered at your club, which may be useful not just for initial contact, but also when you're setting up events, for example. The email builder also allows you to target specific users by using the filters in the everyone grid, as I mentioned earlier. By doing this as well, you can actually create email groups. Another one is to be able to use the auto-populated fields, which allow for you to personalize emails quite easily. As well as this, it ensures your club is only emailing parents and not children, which avoids parents having the hassle of receiving more than one email or duplicated emails. Using the email builder, you can also blind copy in participants in bulk. So that's quite time saving. Another benefit is being able to, of course, add attachments to the email. And finally, the latest feature or the latest benefit of the email builder is a new template that has been added, which actually has affiliation instructions in it, which you can send to people at your club to hopefully improve that process. A top tip here, though, please note that it is key that as a club to ensure that the user's information, specifically for this purpose, it would be their email address, really is kept up to date to support this process. So we'll now just move on to course bookings. So in order to book a course, you can do this when you initially log in and the landing page is your personal dashboard. That's what you see on screen. All I did there was I scrolled to the bottom and you can see the option to find a course. You select that, you then can locate the relevant course mainly from a location and then simply proceed to the next steps in order to book the course. We'll now move on to the reporting aspect of GMS. This is actually our last key area we run through. So in order to pull a report, you would go to the organization profile module within your club. There is a menu item named reports, which you can see on the screen. You can run a report on the type that you require. You can also export the report into various formats. This helps club obviously keep up to date with areas such as volunteer management, safeguarding, qualifications, DBS statuses, as well as actually supporting governance compliance. You can see a list of the various reports there. There are actually quite a lot of options. So I've actually just popped an example report on here, and this is the club training report. Please note, though, that only individuals with the role of coach or team manager who are also correctly assigned to the relevant team will appear on the club training report. The other reports that I've mentioned available include a DBS report, so it shows the different statuses of DBSs. The safeguarding report, which in summary shows the safeguarding courses that users have attended or have not attended. The club participants report, which shows the different statistics for teams. A teams participants report, which allows you to view which players have been used in fixtures across all teams, providing that the electronic match card was used for those fixtures. A key tip here is that reports are, of course, only as accurate as the data that's held on GMS by your club. So sort of a follow on from a point I made earlier about really making sure that information on your club on GMS really is kept up to date as much as you possibly can do. So hopefully this webinar has been helpful, in particularly to those that are new to using or are yet to use the game management system. Should you require further help and support, though, of course, please see the options as listed on this slide. One that I would just like to personally mention is the help portal itself. So this is a key resource for GMS. If my colleagues haven't already shared the help portal link directly with you on the chat, I'm sure they will do now, but it's also on the slide. So on here, you will find an array of resources. There are videos with audio to talk you through processes as well as visually take you through them, as well as a lot of those videos actually sit on articles where there is already a written description, a step-by-step process. Of course, if you do need that extra bit of support, as I mentioned at the beginning of the call, myself as well as my team, we are totally here to help and support you additionally mainly with any technical queries on GMS. And should you, like I said, have any difficulty through that link as well as viewing the resources, you do have the option to submit a help request, and that help request comes through to me and my team, where of course we're absolutely on hand to help. So as I said, just to recap on the 3 key objectives from this webinar that hopefully have been met. And now I think we will just open up to a few questions. I'm sure they've been coming through on the chat. But finally as well, just a big thank you from all of us really for what you do to support and develop rugby within your local community. And thank you for joining us this evening.
Thanks, Amy. If you'd like to just stop sharing your screen so we can see people's faces. So hopefully, so guys, a couple of questions coming through on the chat there during the session, just some basic ones. Yes, we are recording the session today, and we will be sending the link to the recording out. It will go onto our YouTube channel. Appreciate there's it's quite a high level view this webinar of what is available, and there is the further support there on the help portal as well. We will be sending all the links that we've shared tonight in the relevant sections to you as well. One of the key things when you're just starting out with GMS is to have a go. And to have a go in the system and use the articles, use the support that's available. It's a really good way just to explore the system. A lot of the questions can be covered off in the help portal, and it's one of the areas that we're constantly looking to improve. And you'll notice and see over the next couple of months, in particular around age grade affiliations, some new videos to help support how to around stuff, and you'll hopefully see a bit of a shift change in direction of travel, but hopefully that has been good. Now if you've got any questions now, it'd be good to start popping them in the chat. I've got first one here that I'm gonna pick up on is from Richard Lorenzi, just around, are there any specific GMS trainings to dig deeper into specialist areas? So we're really going to be focusing around some key topics in terms of our support. One of them being age grade affiliation, one of them being this, what is GMS? We are you'll be aware that we are, and I think one of them's just come on the call now, we do have created a GMS support trainer network of individuals who will be supporting clubs and deployed using our local intelligence and also our data and insights to support clubs. So another level, a good resource to add to the support that is available 24/7 on our help portal, and also the support that is available via videos, webinars, etc., that we have in place. So yes, we will be digging deeper, and the hope is that's the focus this year, to be really targeted in terms of our focus, but how we want to move that is to more of a persona-led approach to our training. So I'm a coach, what do I need to do in GMS? I'm a registrar, what do I need to do type of training. But we're at start of the journey in terms of our training and support model, and we'll be evolving that as we move along. So hopefully that answers your question. Good question from Joe Booth, and I'm going to come across to Chloe to answer this one. So what is the difference between affiliation and registration, and how do they fit into GMS?
Thank you, Ian. Hopefully you can all hear me. So basically, affiliation is the old process for registration for the age grade game. So we've now renamed age grade registration to age grade affiliation. It is an online process and has been for the last 2 years. Third year before that was voluntary, so it's a mandated annual process. So for the age grade game, that's everyone from under 6 and upwards to under 18s will need to be affiliated to their club. Once they are affiliated, then they then show as they're eligible to their date of birth into the relevant team management teams. From there, club administrators can, on a basic level, can then assign them to the play-in squad, and should that be required for age grade game, then obviously they could be selected onto the match card. For adults, for senior rugby, there's 2 options at the moment. Affiliation is optional, it's not mandated. Hopefully we want to bring that in line with the age grade game, and more communication will come out on that, but there's no change for that this season. Has been some piloted areas for that, so again communications will go out to those areas or the adults that have already affiliated last year, just asking them to renew. For the rest of the adults game, registration is still part of some of the leagues and first teams, or even second teams in some leagues and RFU competitions. So adults will still need to be registered or effectively registered if they play for those relevant teams or competitions. So at the moment, age grade is purely affiliation, and that's the term that we now use. We're looking to hopefully move the adult game into affiliation as well, but there will be some parts to maintain the competition integrity that will still need to be registered, or what we call effectively registered. So once that's all been reviewed, mandated, there'll be communications coming out probably later this year about that. So hopefully a little bit long-winded, but hopefully that sort of filled the gap there. Another question that is linked to that is membership, and it's just to advise that membership is a completely separate to affiliation or registration to play. So once a player or a parent has affiliated as a player, they will need to do membership as a separate transaction. So that sometimes comes up with the affiliation question as well.
Do you have to do one before the other?
No, they're not linked, so you can do either way. Obviously, some clubs use GMS for their membership, some don't. So yeah, it's completely optional. Doesn't matter which way round you do.
Thanks.
Cool, thank you.
Hi, sorry, I still don't understand the difference between affiliation and registration. I mean, some people have to do one and some do another, but what's the fundamental difference between them?
Basically, they're both, affiliation and registration are both if you want to show as a player in your club. Affiliation is for the age grade game. Registration at the moment is still for the adult game. And we call it registration, but it's really effectively registration for the top levels of the game. So
There's
that's
a
basically
trial
split at the
in
moment.
Eastern
Is
counties.
affiliation is for age grade, registration we're keeping at the moment for this season for adults.
Also, there's a difference with registration. You do it once and that's it. With affiliation, you have to redo it every year to show your current.
Yes, that's correct. Yeah, affiliation is a online annual process. Main reason being it's part of the regulations, and also if you have any changes, we need to be made aware every year. So, for example, should you have had medical conditions have changed, so say for example you sustained a few head injuries, your medical conditions will need to know, so we need to be advised on an annual basis if anything changes, particularly for those regards for safeguarding and medical conditions are the main reasons behind that. Okay, thank you. Ian,
Yeah,
back to you.
That's really good. Thanks for your questions coming in. Really good. Just the next couple that are coming in there. Just one from Katie. I think you've been covered off. I don't know if that's a legacy hand you have up there, but please do come off mic actually if your question hasn't been answered.
A minute ago when you talked around the affiliation for junior members, and then you're saying something about the parents, it's that bit about linking them to their teams. I think that's what's causing maybe some confusion for some people.
Yeah, affiliation is the process that parents or guardians will have to affiliate their age grade player or their child to a club. Affiliation is to show that they are a player for that club, and then the club administrator, if it's a new affiliation, will need to approve those affiliations. If they're a renewal, so they're returning from a previous season, then they won't need to approve them. So it's less work for volunteers if people just renew on an annual basis because they're automatically approved. So if you want to just be linked to a club and you're not a player, so for example a parent or a social member, they can just be linked to your club or your organization. Affiliation is if you want to be affiliate as a player. So obviously parents won't be doing that unless they play themselves, but they will be affiliating their child. So on a very simple basis, because we do have other webinars and other guides on the help portal, but on a very simple basis, the parent logs into their GMS account, either adds their child, or if their child is already added, then you simply add your club as an organization and then affiliate the child as a player. That then goes to the club to approve if that's a new one. That's affiliate as a player. And then in team management, or once you've approved that affiliation under player management or on your dashboard, if you have the relevant role or permission, once you approve that affiliation, they will then show in team management under the relevant team based on their date of birth. You can then, if you wish to, for team management or squad management, you can then assign them from the all club players list to the play-in squad. And then from there, if you wish to, you can then select them onto electronic match cards if you use that.
Oh. So can more than one person have the administrator rights to do that for players? Because at the moment we've got about 150 players, but they don't show up on the dashboard. They're just sat there pending.
Yeah, if they're sat there under pending affiliations, it's because nobody has approved them. Come the 1st of July, all those pending ones are going to be cancelled, and they'll have to either come back as pending affiliations to renew, or they'll be, to approve, or they'll be renewals. So there's more information coming out, or that has been sent on the 1st of July about the bulk de-affiliation. If you've got everyone sat on your dashboard as pending affiliations, then you may want to speak to your CB or rugby developer, or reach out to the help desk, and we can give you some guides or give you more information on how you can approve those pending affiliations. Okay. That'll probably be why they're not showing up on your dashboard or in Teams.
Thanks for that, Katie. I would advise around affiliation. We did do a pretty comprehensive affiliation webinar that can be found on the RFU Club Support YouTube channel. and there's been a recent comms that has gone out this week and will be going out later this week around affiliation, with some key videos to watch as well. So some good stuff there that will really kind of answer all your questions there, Katie. So worth having a look at. But thanks for feeding in your questions, really appreciate it. I am going to stick, because there's quite a large number of people on the call and lots of questions. I'm going to stick to just keeping those questions in the chat and us pulling them out. So Richard, I know you got your hand up, but your question is, we were told there would be a significant overhaul of GMS in May. Has that happened? In terms of overhaul and significant overhaul, that's not the case. And comms were communicated around platform for rugby, which the guys will put in the link. So it's probably worth having a look at our platform for rugby recommendations following the Deloitte review that was conducted in December and January, and has made some key recommendations moving forward. And some of them are related to how we engage with the game. So in terms of having two-way engagement with user groups. But one of the key things for this year, at the moment, at this point in time, with the game management system, is we have made some key enhancements to the system and no major changes at this point. So it's probably good to have a read of that, and I think Chloe's just popped that in the chat. So that will give you a good flavour of the direction of travel that we're taking, and it's probably worth having a look at that. So hopefully that helps. Just gonna go through some other questions that have come in, and apologies if as I'm just reading it down, if you're typing away. Good questions coming in. Shelley Booker, what do you do if you have parents that don't want to log in the system? Chloe, do you want to take this one?
We don't really publicise it, but it is, as we do encourage parents and guardians to obviously fill out the player affiliation, and to obviously, so that the data is accurate. If that's not possible, we do understand that there are some small cases where the parents, just as you say, they're not interested, or they don't have, internet access or Wi-Fi access, and they're not able to come to your club for registration days, which some other clubs manage to do those quite successfully. Then club administrators can actually affiliate players yourselves. So there is a guide which we can put on the chat, how you can do that. So for those small cases where it's not possible that the parent or the guardian can log in and do that, then obviously you, as a club administrator with the relevant roles and permissions, you can do that yourselves.
Cool, thanks, Kay. I've seen there's a question come in just around, I think it's from Stuart Hutton. Do you provide an email newsletter for updates that we can register to? So with all our information is communicated via something called the community game update. So that's sent to key roles within your club. So it will be worth speaking to your ONSEC or data officer or treasurer who receive the communications, but also Rebecca Skinner, I've seen on here, she very kindly posts that on the Facebook user group, which is a self-help group from volunteers for yourself, and it's shared on there. It is also shared on englandrugby.com as well. So there are updates around what's happening to the system, and we're really conscious around that, and communicating things that are happening to the system way in advance and ahead of time. And hopefully you've noticed a bit of a step change around that since sort of October, November time, as we've really tried to start to change that. And that is ongoing process and evolving all the time, but we really want to make sure that we're communicating in the right way and at the right time to support you guys as volunteers. So you know, you do a fantastic job, and it's just around making sure you access it and know that that's available as well. So yeah, speak to your club in the first instance, but it is available, and I know some of the local delivery teams share it on their social media channels, so Facebook, Twitter, Instagram for your area. So if you're in the North or the Midlands or the London South East or South West, there is a local delivery Facebook group, so probably worth getting involved in that and finding that as well. So there's lots of chances to see it, and appreciate that some people don't see what they need or when they need all the time. So great. I was just talking then, and a few questions coming in. Great, good to see some answers. Have we got any additional questions? Here we go. What do clubs have to do in relation to data protection before entering players, coaches onto GMS? Probably one that we want to, I'll take away. I actually don't know the actual answer to that one. Chloe, is it that one we probably want to take away and revert back to everyone? Yeah. Thanks for that question, and we will revert back to any questions that we don't answer. But I wouldn't want to give a wrong answer. Okay, if someone wants to pop in for Brian, if someone wants to put what the Facebook group is called, I know that there are members on here. If you could pop that in the chat for Brian, that will help him out so he can search and find. Thanks, Laura. Thanks very much. So cool. There was a number of things with GMS, and I'm assuming that most of you are new to it, and it may feel a bit daunting at first if you've been given a role, but there is support out there. And you know, we have made changes to our service desk team because we realize that we're coming up to a sort of peak period in terms of usage of the system. So what we have done is increase capacity on that service desk team to ensure that we're answering tickets that are submitted and helping to support you the best we can. So we're really taking a coordinated approach to this across the organization, and helping to support you with this moving forward. So any more questions coming in on the chat?
Yes, can you hear me? There was just one I noticed from Combo who it was, sorry, but it was about, can the system prevent emails sent via GMS automatically going into members' junk folders? This is actually down to your specific email service provider. So this is not something that from the GMS side of things we can control. It's down to whatever email service provider you use. There is an article on the help portal, I believe it's called Not Received Email. So we'll pop that in the chat, which explains a step-by-step. Well, it just explains why that might be happening, and I think it does point you in a direction of how you may be able to prevent it. But like I said, this is not something that is controllable from the GMS platform.
So you'll see the key areas of support around the system is that help portal. So if you're new to the system, you know, really familiarize yourself with some of the articles on there. Will give you a great start. There's also a page that shows the latest releases and changes to the system and enhancements, so worth having a look at that. And the other key area is our club support YouTube channel. So really worth looking at some of the previous webinars to get you up to speed with what we've done, and we'll be posting some short clips to help assist you with supporting that message around key topics with it for people within your clubs and for yourselves as well. So there's lots of bits to have a look at and get your teeth into, but hopefully a lot of it shows there's a lot of support around this and messaging. It's just knowing where to go and look. Great.
just answering that one for Joe, just there on the difference between the two. I'll just finish my sentence and send it to you, Joe, but hopefully that sums up quickly for you.
I think we've covered most questions off. If anyone does have any more questions or a burning question that you want to type in, please do. We will send this recording around to you in the next few days, and just be great for you guys to share that as well. And we will we thank you all for coming. It's been a good session, and it's good to get all of these questions in. Good to see people supporting each other on the chat as well, so really good. I do recommend that the Facebook help group is good for support, for self-help, but for the main answers, or if you're really stuck, do submit a ticket, and Amy and her team will endeavor to answer them as soon as possible. So they are the first frontline support. They're going to give you the accurate answers. Facebook, you might get a wrong answer potentially, so really go to the service desk. If you've got a burning query, you don't know how to do something, service desk to submit a ticket if you can't find the answer.
Can I also add on to that point quickly, Ian? Just as well as Ian said about submitting a ticket, as well as on the help portal, you can give us feedback on the resources that we have put out. So if you do feel, and you can actually do that directly on the article or on the article with the video, and that is really useful that we go through those, just so we can really make quick amendments on the help portal on our content. So we really do appreciate if anyone does have any feedback on those, and we'll certainly take them into account and implement them if we feel they're appropriate.
So we do have some future webinars coming up. So we do have around specific topics that are going to be key moving forward. So we have another 2 webinars coming up around age grade affiliation. So one that you might want to get on if you haven't seen the previous one. There is one available online now on that YouTube channel that we recorded a month or so ago. So that's worth going on. And again, obviously different role holders look at GMS, but we do have one around electronic match cards. So if you're going to be looking at electronic match card within your club, or we do have a specific session coming up on the 12th of July. That's our next webinar around electronic match card. So if you are interested or want to know a bit more about that, then please do drop in. Again, all our webinars are recorded. We know people have busy lives, and now we're allowed out and can do stuff. So, they are all recorded, so you can watch them back. So some key webinars coming up over the summer. Key place for information is the help portal. You've got the Facebook self-help group there as well. And then you've got so the webinars and some of our videos that we're producing to help support and the messaging around that comes to the game via the community game update. So lots of different things to get your head around, lots of new things. Appreciate you may want to go back on this recording and have a look at some of the things that Amy went through and talked through, but hopefully we've given you a thorough overview of GMS and how it can help you in your club tonight. So thank you very much for coming on tonight. Really appreciate you giving up your time. And what I would ask is if Laura, if you can just drop the feedback form into the chat link for me. If I could ask a plea for everyone just to put their feedback. It literally takes 1 minute on the form that Laura's just going to pop into the chat.
I've already posted it on there, but we'll put it on there again.
Brilliant. And then it just helps us to help shape these sessions as we move forward in the future. So thanks very much for your time. Enjoy GMS and your administration. And thanks for your support in getting ahead of the game by coming on this now ahead of the start of the season. And one thing to highlight probably for all you newbies out there is we do have a GMS checklist out there that is available on the help portal. It gives you a highlight of everything that you need to do to get ready to start the season. And it's in a handy sort of editable PDF that you can tick box, so you can take it on your iPad, your phone to a committee meeting or a meeting and check that you've done the right thing. It's got hyperlinks to relevant articles, really useful. You can print it off if you want to as well. So really worth having a look at that, the GMS checklist, and we can go from there. But thank you for your time. Great to get your feedback, and I hope you have a good evening. Thank you.
Cheers.
Thank you, everyone. Cheers. Thanks.